What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What up, folks? We back at it, man. Local locker room. It's been a minute. It's been a while. I get it. I know it. First and foremost, shout out to my guy, Secret Society, Society 66. You know the vibes and the energy. Members only. Make sure y'all go hit them at Iverson Mall, man. My man Barry, Society 66. Downstairs in the mall. Go hit them for that good apparel. Especially this time of the year. They got the good, comfortable, thick hoodies, man. No shrink. Been wearing this one for about 2 years now. I got a couple other ones too, but that's neither here nor there. We're here right now for VHSL football. Yeah, you heard what I'm saying. We talking VHSL football. This is the 540 local look. It's the local look 540 right here on the LLR Network, man. You know the vibes and energy, and this is where we get to talking high school football. It's been a while since I stepped into the high school football realm or era or whatever you want to say. So we had to step back into it because there's a lot going on. Now, mind you, you see it says 540, not talking about in the mountains. We're talking about local 540. Fauquier County, Culpeper County, Madison, Louisa, Orange, Stafford, Fredericksburg, even got Caroline in the mix. So we'll be talking about those 540 schools, which are right here in my local area. I want to say it's about 20 schools in total. We're going to run down some of the matchups going on this week real quick, real fast. We're going to run down some of the matchups. First, we'll look at the records of the schools, and then we'll talk about the records. But before we get into the records, we need to talk about the actual breakdown of who's going where, who's AAA, who's single A. Again, we're going to get into all of that. If you choose to donate to the program, choose to donate to the network, by all means do so. You see it right there at the bottom, LLR Media. By all means, hit the Cash App, $2, $3, whatever. It don't really matter. Again, it just goes back into the network. I don't want to say breaking news, but it's my understanding that there is no more sports section in the Culpeper newspaper. It has been said that there's no more sports section in the Culpeper newspaper. So the only local sports you're going to get when it comes to the football, the basketball is going to be myself in this local area, Stephanie, from So Dope Visuals. She'll probably be doing some breakdowns of the sports in the area because she does the photography and she used to be the editor for the sports section. But again, they have eliminated the sports section in the paper. Stupid as hell to me. Stupid as hell. Quick disclaimer, I am a YouTube content creator, but I also am deep into the youth sports world and high school. When I say youth sports, I mean high school and youth, meaning from 6U all the way up to senior in high school. That's the sports I cover. Majority football. I want to get into the basketball. They don't really open the doors as much, but I'm going to get there this year. But right now we're talking about this show right here, which will take place every Friday. Times may vary, but it will take place every Friday, man. It is the 540 local look with your boy Samson The Badguy. So let's get right into it, man. And let's look at some of the records. The games in the area have been lopsided. I've been to multiple games. The games have been really, really lopsided. I mean, really, really lopsided here lately. And it happens sometimes from year to year. You know, you have schools like Liberty High School in Bilton that lost 21 seniors. That's tough. Now, that's not an excuse for what's going on over there, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But right now, we're going to talk about some of the records that's going on and who's where. So we start right here, and as you can see, Brook Point, 6A. That top group of schools that you see right there, the games we got going on this weekend, those are our 6A schools. And I want to say they are in region, I can't remember exactly. Hold on one second. I'll tell you exactly what region I think they're in. They are region 6AB. 6A. They are 6A region B at the top of your list right there. 6A region B at the top of your list right there. Again, you got Brook Point, who is 3-2 right now. I've seen Brook Point play this year when they played Eastern View. Pretty solid team, good team. They lost a major piece. But they're still pretty solid school, man. Brook Point is 3-2 at the time. I posted the video. I posted the photo the other day on my Facebook page with the teams that they've played up to this point. And right now, Brook Point is 3-2. They take on a undefeated Stafford. Stafford's putting up numbers. I got the apps. I follow them. I've watched Stafford play. They're looking good. Got some key players back from schools where they wasn't supposed to be. But Stafford is looking good right now, setting at 5-0. They take on Brook Point tonight. If you're talking about records, that's kind of going to give you an idea who's going to win that game. But I can't say. I haven't seen them both enough yet to really dictate who's what and who's where. But as you can see right now, Stafford is 5-0. Colonial Forge setting at 4-1. They'll be taking on Massaponax as well, who's setting at 4-1. Again, all the schools on the left, Brook Point, Colonial Forge, Mountain View, North Stafford, and Stafford are 6A schools, and they are in the same region. They are 6A schools, and they are in the same region. So you see Mountain View takes on Riverbend. Mountain View at 3-1, Riverbend at 2-2. North Stafford will be hosting Eastern View. Both 3-1 teams. There's a lot going on with Eastern View, and I'll get into that a little later when I talk about local. So when I say local, quick disclaimer, if I say local, I'm probably talking about Eastern View, Culpeper, Liberty, Kettle Run, and Fauquier High School, because that's the area I live in. But I do follow all the other 504 schools, 540 schools as well. Players mess up too. But we'll get into it. But like I said, no, Stafford's hosting Eastern View. Stafford 5-0, like we went over before. They're hosting Brook Point. And then as you can see down at the bottom right there, you got Massaponax versus Colonial Forge and Mountain View versus Riverbend. Massaponax and Colonial Forge are not 6A schools, as you can see it right there, clear as day. They are 5A Region D, based on what VHSL put out. Again, any information I get will come from the VHSL, Virginia High School League. It'll come from their website. It'll come from Max Prep. It'll come from ScoreStream. It'll come from Twitter. So I'll be getting the information from everywhere. If it is incorrect, please feel free in the comments to correct it. Also, hit the share, hit the subscribe, hit the like button so that you can stay up to tune with all the sports. And like I just said, we're going to do basketball as well this year. We're going to be into the basketball as well this year. And my partner in crime, she wants to get into some cheers, so we'll see what happens there. But again, those are your games for tonight. And your 6A and your 5A, who's hosting who's going where. I want to say out of this list right now, the better game is probably going to be the North Stafford versus Eastern View. 3-1 versus 3-1. North Stafford is back on their rise. They're flipping the script, and getting back to North Stafford football. Eastern View got some things going on over there, and we'll get into that. There's a lot of turmoil going on within that Eastern View program right now. A lot. From what I'm understanding, one of their key players have just, been removed from the team. But again, like I said, we'll get into that in a second. We'll run down the rest of these games. You see your 5A right there. Then we go over to 4A. 4A Region B. Again, the teams on the left are in 4A Region B. That's Caroline, Chancellor, Cortland, Eastern View, King George, Louisa, Spotsylvania. Right now, there's no clear who's on top of this right now. We know Chancellor 0-4, been down bad for a while. But amongst the rest, there's no clear shot. We know Eastern View beat Caroline pretty convincingly the other day. We seen that. So there's really no Louisa, who I heard got two very key players back, are sitting at 2-2, Spassy at 2-3. So we'll see more when they get into the conference play as to how they separate themselves in that 4A B region. But the games for this week, Caroline is at Culpeper, 3-1 versus 2-2. That should be a good game in that 4A. Chancellor at James Monroe, probably not going to be a game I want to see. Probably going to be kind of dead and boring. We watched James Monroe pull a crazy comeback. Salute to them guys, the Coghill brothers, Joe B, the coaches over there. Some of them I know. Salute to them. Crazy comeback victory at the end of that game versus Liberty. Down 12 points with 3 minutes and some change, 4 minutes and some change. They pull off the victory. So shout out to them. Cortland 3-1 against King George. King George does not look the same since they lost some key players and a lot of strong seniors. But they're still King George. Cortland, on the other hand, shout out to Lackey, Keith Pendleton, the crew over there. They back on they flipped the script. They're back on the top of their game like Cortland used to be way back in the day. They're sitting at 3-1. I think they'll probably knock off King George. Not by a lot, but not by a little neither. I think Cortland is definitely going to win that one convincingly. Again, like I said earlier, we got 4A Eastern View playing North Stafford, both 3-1. We're going to see where that lands. We're going to see where that falls, man. Again, North Stafford's a 6A school. And shout out to Eastern View. We all know that me and that coach has not seen eye to eye in a long time. Just that coach, though. Because the other coaches on that staff, there is other coaches on that staff that I get along with very well. We talk football very well. But me and Coach Default, again, this is my platform. I can say what I want. Me and Coach Default, and I say Coach Default because he got the job by default. Nobody else wanted it. Let's keep it funky and keep it real. I'm back. This is why they call me the bad guy, because I speak on the shit that nobody else does. Nobody else wanted it. That's why Coach Default got it. And the shit's falling apart. But we'll get to that later. But anyway, it should still be a good game because of the talent. Eastern View has a shitload of talent. So they make games good. Win, lose, or draw, they're going to make it happen. So Eastern View and North Stafford definitely probably one of the better games this week. I'll be in Prince William County at a different game, Battlefield and Unity Reed, because I'll be in that area tonight. But Eastern View and North Stafford is definitely a game that I'm going to watch on the app very closely tonight while I'm at the other game, because it should be a good game. King George 2-2, like we said, taking on Cortland. Louisa's taking on Mountain View. No. Wait, that can't be right. My bad. Louisa's taking on Monticello. I'm sorry. Louisa's taking on Monticello, one of them schools out in the Charlottesville area near Albemarle, Western Albemarle, all of that crap. Louisa's taking them on tonight. Louisa's 2-2. Monticello's 3-1. It's probably going to be a decent game. And Spotsylvania's sitting at 2-3. They got to bye this week. They don't got nobody to play, so it's going to be an easy run for them. Again, I'm just running down the who's where, what region they're in, and then who they got this week. I'm running down that real quick. Region A, also 4A. We just went over the other 4A with Caroline Chancellor, Cortland, Eastern View, King George, Louisa, Spotsylvania. They're all 4A, but they're in Region B. Also in 4A, we got Liberty and Orange. Liberty and Orange are in Region D. Liberty at 0-5. Oh, my God, it looks horrible. They take on Brentsville tonight. They host Brentsville tonight. 0-5, trying to get their first win, trying to get their first home win. It just don't look good right now. And again, we'll get into that when we get local. Right now, I'm going over the local games and matchups. They got Brentsville. Brentsville lost a lot of seniors, a lot of key players. Coach Lauren and crew is over there trying to get it spent back around. They're on the rebuild program. Again, Liberty lost a lot of players. This game's not going to be really an exciting game to me. It's going to be a drawn-out game, coin toss. I got Brentsville winning it. Again, not by a lot, not by a little, but I do got them winning it. I could be wrong. But Coach Lauren over there, like I said, in Brentsville, trying to bring it back, trying to get it back. We got Orange sitting at 4-1, man. Orange sitting at 4-1. They taking on Western Albemarle. Orange is going to knock that out. Orange used to be 5A. Now they're 4A. So that changes things a little bit. And we seen them mollywop. Orange is putting up numbers. Go look at Orange's scores. They're putting up numbers. We seen them mollywop Liberty. Pop, 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 pop. And they're in the same region. So, but they take on Western Albemarle, and that's going to go down. And then, of course, in 3A, we got Culpeper, Fall Kid, Kettle Run, James Monroe. Kettle Run dropped down to 3A. I believe they was 4A. They're 4-0. They're probably going to walk through that 3A shit. I'm just being honest with you. They did lose key players, but they got young players that are studs, dogs, and they play them. That's what separates. We'll get into that when I get to the local. But that's what separates Kettle Run from the other high schools in the local area, is they play their young dogs, man. They play their young dogs with no problem. Hold on one second. Let me get this off the screen. I thought I already had it off the screen. Players mess up too. But they play their young dogs. That's what Kettle Run, they'll play their younger guys. So that's kind of what separates them. But Kettle Run's taking on Millbrook. Millbrook sitting at 2-2. Kettle Run at 4-0. So we're going to see how that pops off. And then James Monroe, again, they're taking on Chancellor. Should be a pretty simple victory for James Monroe. They're in 3A. And then salute to Madison. You're the only 2A school in the area, but salute to you because I see you guys turning around getting big wins. Shout out to my man Fred. Shout out to my man Ron over there playing quarterback. Salute to Madison. I see y'all turning around in the 2A. I got to give love to y'all. I normally don't do the 2A stuff, but I got to give love to y'all. Again, this is VHSL. but I still got to give a little bit of a shout out. I still got to give a little bit of shout out to the private schools in the area, like Woodbury, who's on fire right now. St. Michael's, who is on fire right now. Those are all both 540 schools, private schools, and they're on fire right now. St. Michael's is on fire right now. Shout out to DJ Kiki, the players over there. You know, shout out to all of y'all who's doing y'all thing over there right now. Again, I was over there. Everybody knows that I was over there for a little bit. Things didn't work out, but I still got friends and family over there. So with that being said, shout out to St. Michael's. I see you guys turning that culture back around. I see you making things happen. Shout out to the players over there. I see you putting in the work. I see the work paying off. So shout out to you guys, man. I hope you go and regain that title championship. Shout out to Woodbury, my dog Shorty, my dog Carson Murray that's over there at Woodbury. You guys is putting Woodbury where they normally would be and where they're supposed to be. You're looking like a dominant private school right now in the 540 area. So again, shout out to the high schools that's making it happen. In case you don't know, quick rundown again, without all the other stuff, just the schools and who's playing, you know, who's playing what and who's doing what. We'll run down it real quick, and then we're going to get to the locals. We got Brook Point playing Stafford. Brook Point playing Stafford this weekend. Brook Point playing Stafford this week. That's going to be a good matchup. Then we got Colonial Forge versus Massaponax. That's going to be a good matchup this week. So make sure you lock in for that one. Then we got Mountain View versus Riverbend. That's going down. That's a 5-0 in the area matchup this week. Then we got North Stafford versus Eastern View. Another good matchup that's going to be going down this week. Then we got Caroline versus Culpeper High School. The Battle of the Seas going down this week, and that's at Culpeper. Then we got a Fredericksburg matchup, Fredericksburg-Stafford matchup, because we got Chancellor versus James Monroe, a.k.a. JM, going down this weekend as well. You feel me? A lot of games this weekend in the area, and I'm going to keep track of all of them. Believe it or not, we got Cortland versus King George. Little backyard brawl going on right there. You feel me? Then we got Louisa County, Louisa Lions taking on Monticello. Louisa taking on Monticello, a little bit of Charlottesville area. You feel me? And then Spotsy with the big bye. Spotsy with the bye. Spotsy gets a bye this week. They get to chill, they get to relax, you know, heal up, watch some game film, see how it's going down. Then we got Liberty versus Brentsville. Liberty and Brentsville going to war this weekend. We're going to see what's happening with them on game night. We got Orange County versus Western Albemarle. Western Albemarle trying to get their first win. Don't think it's going to happen too well against Orange County. Then Fauquier and Skyline is moved to Monday. From what I've seen on Facebook today, the Fauquier and Skyline game has been moved to Monday. For whatever reason, they're not going to play today. Doesn't make sense to me. Maybe they tore the field up Friday. They played in that freaking mess. Mud bowl for real. Tore the field up. And maybe that's why they can't play tonight. Parents are talking about, hey, it didn't rain yesterday. Hey, it's not raining today. But hey, parents, you might have tore the field up last Friday. And now they might not be playable. You might not even be able to put lines on the field. I know Fauquier High School. I know how that field gets when it gets muddy and messed up. The grass will disappear on your ass in a minute. So if you played last week when it was nasty and muddy and wet and rainy, it's rained all this week, it's a good possibility that the field is jacked up. It's a good possibility that the field's jacked up. Shout out to my man Derek Knighting because he pointed that out. Because at first I'm like, why they not playing the game? It ain't rain. But Derek said, hey, man, maybe they fucked the field up last week. Then it rained this week, so they couldn't work on it to fix it. And then yesterday they might have been working on it. Today they might be working on it, but it might have been already jacked up. So that's a good point made by my man Derek. Shout out to him for that point. Give him a round of applause for that point. Good point made, Derek. So that might be why that game is in shambles right now. But it's supposed to be played on Monday. But I also seen where they were trying to move it to Skyline tonight. So we'll see how that works out. Kettle Run taking on Millbrook. And then to end it off, like I said, to end the cap off with Madison taking on, what is the name of that place? It's Madison taking on, I forgot the name of it, man. But Madison's got a game this weekend. I forgot the name of it. That's crazy. I just said the name. I forgot it. Just said the name and forgot it that quick. But it happens. It be that way sometimes. But anywho, anyhow, those are the game recaps for this week, man. Make sure y'all tap in. I'll have the scores for all these games as well. Now let's get into the local. Let's talk about the local, okay? There's a lot going on in the local area in which I live. I wanted to show love to all the schools, but now let's talk about the local. I'm taking it back to when the local locker room was in the shed. I'm taking it back to when the local locker room was in the corner of the room, and we just talked about the local football in our area. Because I've been sitting here and I've been looking at some things, and the feelings that I have are not good feelings. The feelings that I have, that's what I'm hearing from the crowds. It's getting ridiculous. So and I just spoke on it, and let's separate it, right? We got to separate it. We got to separate the two because I just spoke on it. So we got to separate the two, right? When we really sit down and we look at it and we think about it, Fauquier used to be a dominant, prominent school in this county. Fauquier High School, I'm talking about the Falcons. And over the past few years, they've had to have coach after coach after coach after coach. First, they had the one coach from Kentucky. He was a good coach where he was at in Kentucky, a winning coach. He comes here, they tarnish his whole name and his legacy. And I say they because Fauquier High School is one of those programs that's run by the boosters clubs. Y'all have heard me say this for years. Been going in since 2017 on the coaches and the football in this area. Don't believe me? Do your homework. Go back and check. Going in. Been pointing out all the bullshit and going in because these counties keep hiring these coaches that aren't from here, that don't know the kids. They don't even know what they're getting into. They haven't been to the youth games. They don't know none of the kids in the area. And y'all think the answer to that is making these coaches that you bring in from out of the area hire rec league coaches who couldn't even win in the rec league. And again, let me throw a disclaimer out there real quick. Local Locker Room is mine, created by me and my brother Biggs, now run by me, my brother, and my wife. Our platform. We don't owe anybody anything, and we don't have to sugarcoat anything. So if you don't like what you're hearing on this platform, you don't have to listen. But if you want the truth about what's going on with the sports in the local area, I strongly suggest you listen. And if you don't believe what I'm saying, do your homework. Everything that I speak on is public knowledge. Public knowledge. Do I get some confirmation on the things that I look into from within the programs? Yes, I do. I sure do. Kennard Moss. What up, Kennard? What up? I sure do. Make sure you share the live. I sure do. I do get some inside scoops because there's a lot of people within these programs that are extremely unhappy. And they should be because their kids are playing on these programs. So let's start with Fauquier. Let's start with good old Fauquier, right? And before we get into everybody getting in their feelings again, as I said, anything that I say can be looked up because it is public knowledge. Anybody that doesn't agree with what I say, video does not lie. I've been coaching this game for a long time, so I know what I'm talking about. But let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Fauquier High School. You haven't been good for a long time. And the reason being is because you still allow your boosters and your parents to run your program. Until you bring in a head coach, a successful head coach, and you've done that because Coach Price, I think his name was, from Kentucky, was a successful winning coach until he got into your program. Coach Buck was known for turning programs around, and yeah, he had his own personal things, but that's his personal shit. Coach Buck was not allowed to hire who he wanted to hire. You made him hire a bunch of rec league coaches that couldn't even win in the local rec league. Right now, you have an offensive coordinator who was an unsuccessful coordinator in the rec league. And I know this because I know teams that he coached on. I know kids that he coached. And I know guys that he coached with personally. I watched their games. I seen them. But that is your offensive coordinator and you're expecting to win? Then you bring in a head coach that's never been a head coach and you're expecting him to build a program that's going through it. Make it make sense. It makes no sense at all. Then you want to hang your hat off a win over Liberty. and we'll get into them next. You want to hang your hat. He's jumping around, boasting, beating his chest because he beat a bad Liberty. He's beat a Liberty that graduated 21 seniors, who also has questionable coaching. So if that's what you're hanging your hat on, Falkier, you're in trouble. Because I know for a fact that there's some very unhappy players who love the game of football. Very unhappy players over there who love the game of football. And again, you hired a coach who struggled at Culpeper as a DB coach. He looked good over at Eastern View as a defensive coordinator because he was surrounded by talent. But now he's over here losing to Warren County. Losing a game to Culpeper that should have been sealed and put away, but Culpeper kept fighting. Make it make sense. If you want to get better at Falkier High School, you better start at the top. Get you an athletic director that's going to hire a football coach that's going to come in here and turn the program around, and not a yes man or not the first person that takes the job just because they want to be a head coach so bad. That's my opinion on Falkier. They have the players, so miss me with the culture. I know you have hard workers up there that have been loyal to the program that could have left a long time ago and go to a better situation and go to a better program, but they chose to be loyal to this program and they stayed. And they stayed. You got to start at the top. You got to tighten up. And again, anything that I say can be seen. Physical facts. Look it up. You'll see I'm not telling no lies. Next, we roll on to the other local side. We leave Falkier and we roll on down to Liberty High School. We leave Falkier and we roll on down to Liberty High School. And let's talk about it. Liberty's got players that could help the program be a little more successful, but because of their personal feelings towards certain individuals, they won't play those players but a little bit. Liberty's blaming the culture. You see coaches, you see parents, you see former players, certain lovers of this coach because he favors their kid or whatever the case may be, or because they want to be on the coaching staff so bad that they won't speak the truth. They're not being honest and keeping it real about what's going on over there. They're not. And again, they hired a coach who at the youth level, oh yeah, I remember you. I coached against your program many moons ago. I remember the program you had in Stafford. A lot don't, but I do. A couple of your former players from that program, a couple of former players from the high school you was at, North Stafford, prior to coming to Liberty and working under Buzzo. I talked to a couple of them guys, and they're even shocked as to how he got the job. Now, when your own players, your former players, are shocked as to how you got the job, let me explain something to y'all. And all of you defenders, all you public defenders. And it's funny y'all pick and choose who you say something to. You don't say nothing to me because you know I got the platform. You know I got the platform to rebuttal and correct all that shit, which is why you don't say nothing to me. Not on no bad guy shit. Not on no tough guy shit. But you know that this is what I like to do. So you go at parents on social media. You run down on parents that come to your games to support, to tell them what to say. You can't control what I say. And I don't care if you stop me from coming to your games. I got the app. I'll still watch your game. And I'll still break it down because the truth hurts. And the truth is, the culture of a program starts with the head coach. You're the head of the table. You set the standard. You dictate what the culture is. So all of this blaming it on the kids, and I get it. Sometimes the kids just don't want to play. Sometimes you just don't have the athletes. I get that part. But when you got a bad team and you got a bad pool to pick from as far as athletes, bad coaching doesn't help it. Bad coaching decisions doesn't help it. You got 3 programs over there. Varsity JV freshman. Varsity North JV has a win. Freshmen is running a whole different system, and they're winning. Freshman has coaches that are connected to the youth programs. They're winning. Freshman has coaches that knows those kids, that have known those kids because they've seen a lot of their key players play youth football, and they're winning. So why wouldn't you at the JV or the varsity level want to copy the same thing that the freshmen are doing and run a system that fits the kids you have rather than forcing the kids to fit to your system, because your system ain't working, and it ain't worked in 2 years. It ain't worked since Buzzo. In fact, it ain't worked since Justin Lawson, Trayvon, the Hicks twins, AJ. It ain't worked since all of them left. It hasn't worked since that group left. I'm just being honest. Whatever y'all are doing over there hasn't worked since that dude left. You hire a new AD and he has no clue. He's doing what the principal tells him to do. He's a middleman. Can we stop acting like the AD got so much pull? And I watched you run around and be a middleman. I watched you run about, Toby. If you don't want the truth on your program, then fix your program. It ain't that hard. It ain't that hard. When I was a coach, we had one losing season. But during that one losing season, I didn't get mad at people for speaking the truth. We didn't play well. I could use the excuse we had 14 9-year-olds playing 10U and travel ball, but I'm not, because it's not an excuse, because I knew we were in 10U. I knew they were 9 beforehand. We just didn't play well. I wasn't prepared as a coach my first year running a program in travel ball. I wasn't prepared well. You don't see me making excuses. You don't see me blaming the next man. You don't see me running to the parents telling them don't talk bad about us. You don't see me threatening parents with emails. Where they do that at? How about fix the problem? How about that? Instead of running down parents and telling them what you're tired of, you don't think these parents are tired of sitting in these bleachers and paying $7 to come into a game and sitting there and watching their kids lose? You don't think they're tired of that? You don't think they're tired of the revolving door with the coaches? You don't think they're tired of that? But yet you want to run down on parents and tell them what you're tired of? You don't think the kids who bust their ass at practice, you don't think they're tired of losing? So as an athletic director, it is not your responsibility to run down on parents. It is your responsibility to hire the right people that's going to put these kids in position for opportunity. That is your responsibility. And yeah, what I said on my live stands, you, sir, have me in the wish a motherfucker would mindset. Because if you ever run down on me like you did that other parent, you or your coach, I'm going to hurt your feelings. Because I'm going to hit you with facts that you ain't ready to talk about. And I know the facts. I got the receipts. Again, every smiling face in your program ain't a happy face. I'm going to tell you right now. Some of them smile in your face and they agree with you because they don't want you guys to take it out on their kid and you control that narrative. Some of your coaches agree with you because they want to coach so bad that they're not going to go against you and cause ripples, even if they don't agree with you. And I got those receipts too. So that's not a conversation you want to have. Instead of you coming down on your parents, how about you fix the problem? That's just my personal opinion. And now we slide over to Kettle Run. My bad. Let me get this fixed. Then we slide over to Kettle Run. Kettle Run's on fire right now. I'm just going to be honest with you, and they've been on fire for the past 2 or 3 years. I'm just going to be 100% honest with you. Kettle Run's on fire right now, and they've been on fire for about the past 2 or 3 years. And it's real, it's just real that simple, that truthful, and that honest. They do things different. They run their system different. They do. They have coaches that take the kids and do 7-on-7s in the off season. Just being honest. They do it different. I keep hitting the wrong damn button. My bad. I'm getting it right. They do it different. They move different. They play their key play. They play their players. They play their better players, no matter what age group they're in. They had freshmen last year playing varsity. They got freshmen this year playing varsity. The freshman they had playing varsity last year was making plays as freshmen. The freshman they got playing varsity this year is making plays at freshman. Braylon was over there making plays last year. He's over there again making plays. And I can only speak on the kids who I know their parents personally because I know it won't be an issue. But there's other kids too, don't get me wrong. Dyson Tapscott is over there making plays. 3 interceptions in, I believe, 2 to 3 games. Just talk to his dad. So that's what separates Kettle Run from the other 2 schools in this county. What is it, Fry? Is it Dean Fry? A.D. Fry, I think is his name. The athletic director over there loves football. Trust me. Watched him coach it in Little League. How many other athletic directors in this county even go to the Little League field, let alone coach in Little League? And I seen him coach in Little League, coach from Terry Utterback. Again, it starts at the top. It starts at the top. You tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me where I'm wrong. I've seen him coach in Little League, and he's the athletic director at a local high school. He's in touch with the youth. He knows what's going on with the youth. When he's at the game, and I hope I'm saying his name right, Fry. I think it's Fry. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I apologize, but y'all know who I'm talking about. Got the long mustache, beard or whatever. Y'all know who I'm talking about. You catch him at a Kettle Run game, and he's running around the sidelines like he's still coaching. He's into his team. He's into his program. He enjoys it as an athletic director. He picks the right pieces. He's a football guy, so he picks football guys to run his program. And I'm not saying they're doing everything right, because I don't know. There could be things over there, there could be parents over there that are unhappy. But you don't hear about it too often. You look at their records. You look at what they've done over the past 2 or 3 years, if not longer, all the way back to the other Tapscotts. Mike Tapscott, the Tapscott before that. Kettle Run's been winning because they've been doing things different. They do things different. I'm starting to think Kettle Run might not be in the good old boy. Might not be in the good old boy system. I'm just saying. They do things a little different. And again, I'm not saying everything they do is right. But based on the results, it's right for them. It works for them. So right now, it's not even a question, and it hasn't been a question for a long time. When it comes to Fauquier County, the local area that I live in, Kettle Run is head and shoulders better than the other 2 schools. It's not even a question. The program, I'm not even just talking about the record. I'm not talking about athletes. So don't none of y'all get your panties in a bunch and take it the wrong way. I'm talking about the head of the table. The program itself is head and shoulders better than Fauquier and Liberty and has been for a while. And anybody that disagrees, you're being biased. I'm being realistic. Look at the numbers. The numbers don't lie. Look at the film. The film don't lie. Opinions do. And for a long time, again, since that Trey White, Justin Lawson, Hicks twins, Matt Sloan, Little Freddie, since that group left, Kettle Run has dominated this Fauquier County area. And it's a fact. It's a fact. Go look up the numbers if you think I'm lying. And I only know 2 people at Kettle Run. I've only coached 1. So you can't say I'm being biased. I've coached a lot of kids at Liberty, a lot of kids at Fauquier. The talent's there. And that's how I know the talent's there. Because they were winning with me. And I'm not even a great coach. I'm a good coach. And I know how to get the best out of the kids. But I'm not no great super coach. But I know how to run a program. Yeah. I am good at what I am. And I used those strengths to build my programs when I was coaching. I used those same strengths to help strengthen the teams that I was coaching with, like a Mikey Rose, a Zach Terrell. So again, it's easy to see that Kettle Run is doing something that works for their program, but the other 2 schools aren't. You can blame it on who you want. Results is results. We don't need excuses. You don't want the kids making excuses. So we don't need the excuses. Results is results. And right now, Kettle Run, that way, one way, I'll figure the cameras out sooner or later. Right now, Kettle Run, they're dominant. And they're showing why they are the best school in this county. Take it how you want to take it. and probably the best school in these 2 counties because I seen them scrimmage and what they did. I'm just saying, Eastern View. So they might be the best school in these 5 right here. Real rap. Based off numbers, based off how they move, based on what they do, they might be. And I'm not saying talent. Listen to the words that I choose. I choose my words wisely. Program. I'm not saying kid for kid, they got the best kids. I'm saying they have the best program. Top to bottom. Meaning from the AD to the parents. Right now they have the best program. And it shows. The results are the results. Just being honest. Now we slide on across that county line. And we roll into Culpeper. And Culpeper ain't got but 2 schools. They got Eastern View and they got Culpeper High School. And I'm going to start with Culpeper High School. And the reason I'm going to start with Culpeper High School is because a lot of people give Culpeper High School a lot of hell. And they've been giving Culpeper High School hell for a long time. They have. Since my nephew DC was there, if not longer before that. You had DC, you had DD Covert, you had Jalen Veeney, you had the Hoffman twins, and you had Nas. That group. They struggled, right? Preseason, the beginning of the season, first 4 or 5 games, they struggled. But then they get in conference and they kick ass. Right? And we watch Culpeper be on top of the world with that group. And these are kids that I know personally, dogs, talented. We watched them try to turn the culture around in Culpeper, but everybody kept running the Eastern View, And since that group has left Culpeper, they struggled. They have. And Culpeper has coaches over there like Tyrone Butler, who's probably one of the best coaches, period. Top to bottom. Again, my favorite phrase, top to bottom this year. Because as a coach, from top to bottom, he has it all. He knows how to do the X's and O's. He knows how to make adjustments. He understands the line work, the trenches. He understands how to get the best out of the kids. And he's a good guy. He don't got to do a lot of yelling, a lot of cussing, a lot of screaming. He don't. And he played the game on a high level. Mad respect for him. But again, Danny Knobs, they thought you were going to be the savior, bro. I thought you was going to bring that Blue Devil pride back because you yourself played under that logo right there. Well, maybe just the C, but you played under that C. You played under that Blue Devil pride. I know you did because I was on that team. I played on that team. I was a starter on that team. So I just knew you was going to bring in Blue Devil pride. I knew that a head coach was going to have some Blue Devil pride. I know you was going to bring in a staff full of Blue Devil pride. I just knew you was going to put in the effort to turn that program around. And it's yet to happen, bro. It's yet to happen. Because you, too, went and hired a coach outside the area. Now, I don't know if the athletic director's got the final say or not. I don't know how that works. I know that the county board gets involved, which is stupid to me, because I don't see how these schools are allowing a human resources department that don't be at the games, that don't be interacting with the kids, that don't know half of them. Probably don't even watch football. It's weird and strange to me that you schools allow the board to have the final say-so on who the athletic director can hire for their programs. That makes no sense to me. Because most of the people that you human resources pick are guys that ain't even played football a day in their life. Guys that probably won't even good at it themselves. Guys who you can't even put on the chalkboard and have them break down or make adjustments without having a Glacier Clinic book in their hand. See, I don't think y'all understand this, that football is more than just what the book tells you. You got to be able to make adjustments. The book doesn't have scenarios. I've been to the clinics, and I stopped going to the clinics because every year it's the same shit. Nothing really changes except for the shit that they're selling in the lobby. But when you go into those classrooms, the 3-3 stack is the same no matter who's teaching it. The 4-2-5 is the same no matter who's teaching it. The 5 front is the same no matter who's teaching it. The spread is the same no matter who's teaching it. The read option is the same no matter who's teaching it. But what these classes don't teach you is scenarios. They don't teach you how to fight back when your O-line is struggling. They don't teach you how to adjust when the offense is picking up all your blitzes on defense. Them clinics don't teach you none of that. Being in the fire teaches you that. Being a guy who used to be in those type of situations teaches you that. Being a guy who really knows this game and really knows his players allows you to make those type of adjustments. Glacier Clinic can't help you out there. But yet y'all continue to hire these coaches. Again, human resources. Because in most counties, you have the final say-so. You continue to force your head coaches to hire these bullshit coaches. Their resume shows you that they're bullshit coaches. You're bringing loser coaches into losing programs and think that they're going to create winners? That math ain't math. And I ain't the best in math, but I know that two negatives, a -3 plus a -4 does not make a +7. I don't think so. Maybe I could be wrong. But if I'm already 3 in the hole, if I'm 3 yards in the hole and then I go back another 4 yards, that don't give me a +7 yards. So why are we hiring, why are y'all hiring losing coaches to come into programs that need to be rebuilt? Wouldn't you go find you a winning coach to come into the program and rebuild it and dig in your pockets a little bit? Because I don't want to hear, don't nobody want the job. No, they don't want the job for the money some of y'all are trying to pay. Some of you schools are trying to pay. That's why they don't want these jobs. Because y'all don't want to pay. You don't want to invest into your programs, even though we all know that football is probably the biggest fundraiser a school could have. A good football team packing out the stadium is hands down one of the biggest fundraisers that the school could have. I mean, Hayfield just went and hired a new head coach who's a winning head coach. And I went to a Hayfield game. Packed house. Patriot, Finn, packed house. Kettle Run. They pack out. You see the pattern there? You see the pattern there? But salute to Culpeper. And that's something I've been wanting to say for a while. But salute to Culpeper because they are 2-2. They are 2-2. They are a 3A school. And they're out here playing 4s and 5s. So I see the same, in my personal opinion, I see the same scenario going on that went on when D.D. Colbert, Jalen Veeney, D.C., the Hoffmans, I see the same thing getting ready to happen to where they might struggle with them 4 and 5As, but when they get into their 3A schedule, I see them doing very well. I see them doing very well in their 3A schedule. I do, because the one thing I've noticed over there at Culpeper, the culture is changing. Shout out to the coaching staff, Tyrone Spider. I can't remember the head coach's name, but shout out to the coaching staff over at Culpeper, because sitting in the building and watching them play, even against Eastern View, when they took the slug, they fought till the end. Watching them at the Fauquier game, I was in the building. Fauquier should have had that game put away. Culpeper never stopped playing. They fought till the end. So salute to Culpeper High School, my old alma mater. Salute to the Blue Devil Pride. Salute to those students over there at Culpeper. Because you stayed, you didn't travel to the other side of town, and you're changing the culture. And I'm not saying you guys are going to go out and go 5-0 in the conference play. I'm not saying you guys are going to go win states this year or next year. But I am saying that the players and the coaches are changing the culture. The culture at Culpeper High School is starting to flip. I wish, personally, that Tyrone was the head coach. I think it would have flipped quicker. Just my opinion. He knows the area. He knows the kids. He's from the area. Very well respected as a man, a father, and a coach. I feel like a lot of those kids that do take off running to the other side would stay planted where they're supposed to be if somebody like him was a head coach, somebody from the area. That's all I'm saying, Danny. That is my own opinion, though. You got to do what you do. You know what goes on behind closed doors. But I will say, salute to Culpeper High School's football program. You're starting to see that thing flip. Keep grinding. Don't get comfortable. Don't get stuck on the hill and start sliding back. But I definitely will say after watching y'all play twice in a win and a loss, your kids are feisty. They fight. They don't give up. So salute to the kids over there at Culpeper High School. I definitely see y'all changing around. Now, let's go across the street to the other side of town where things get a little bit different. And again, this segment is about the local. You understand? The areas that are literally within 5 minutes from me, 10 minutes from me. Let's talk about Eastern View High School. The powerhouse that once was. Now, I say powerhouse in the sense of local powerhouse. I'm not saying powerhouse in the sense of, oh my God, state championship, back-to-back this or this, that. I'm talking about 14-time district champ. I'm talking about the Hatfield era, who is now over at Battlefield, mud hole stomping the shit out of people still. And this is the thing, y'all can say what you want about Hatfield. When he coached at Culpeper with Lou, defense was nasty, winning program with Coach Lou. He went to Eastern View, same thing, winning program. Yeah, they would get knocked out in the first round. Sometimes it makes you wonder if it was the kids that was tapping out, though. Or was it his coaching? Everybody's going to have their personal opinion, but numbers don't lie. Now he's over at Battlefield. Does his team always got talent? Yes, I dig that. But it's public school. So it ain't like he recruiting, right? It ain't like he recruiting, right? I mean, if he is, we can't prove it. We see how they go with the coaches that are recruiting. They put him on blast, don't they? So if he was recruiting, wouldn't you think somebody would know? Right, they would know. But anywho, since he left, Coach Settle, again, an AD that was about sports. He was a coach. I know that because he was my position coach in high school as a receiver and a defensive back. He cared about his programs. All of Eastern View's programs when he was the athletic director was winning. All wrestling, basketball, soccer, football, basketball, girls basketball. When you're an athletic director and all your programs is winning, that means you're running your programs right. That means you're doing what's best for the kids and the coaches, therefore they're giving they all. I mean, that sounds like mathing to me. We say it starts from the top. And now here we are. Shit's falling apart over there. And to all you folks that's like, oh, he don't know what he's talking about, I do know what I'm talking about. I know you got players over there that are out of control. I know you got players over there that don't have respect for the coach, and the coach don't respect the players. Therefore, there's no mutual respect. So there's a whole lot of bumping heads over there. I know that there's players over there that no longer want to be there because of all the extra bullshit that goes on behind the scenes. Yeah. And I won't drop no names because they're kids. And I'll never drop a kid's name, especially if I haven't spoke to his parents. Now, if I spoke to his parents or I know his parents or those kids are like my nephews, nephew used in a slang term. But if I know those kids on a personal level, then I'll say their name. But if I know those kids on a personal level, but I haven't talked to their parents, then I won't say their name. So I'm not going to say these kids' names. But I know that as a coach and an athletic director, when your program gets so out of control that your kids are starting to make you pick and choose as to which ones are still around and which ones aren't, you've lost control of your program. An athletic director, that falls back on you too, because that means you're not paying attention enough to your program to stop it before it got started. Whether the head coach was man enough to let his nuts hang and put his foot down and demand respect from the beginning, even though he didn't do that as an athletic director who's in charge of the athletic programs, you should have stepped in. You should have said something. Because I know for a fact it's been brought to your attention as well. See, this is the kicker. Out of control kids get out of control when you don't control them. Kids won't respect them. Kids won't respect you as a coach once you allow them to disrespect you as a coach. Stop me when I'm wrong. Because, see, there's a lot of kids in these high school programs, not just Eastern View, that I've had direct dealings with for long periods of time. And the kids that you're getting as coaches, I never got. My other coaches never got. Because the minute they showed even the smallest sign of that type of mentality, we checked that shit at the door. And if you didn't like the structure and the rules in which we live by over here, then you can take your ass over there. Because, see, I've never been a coach that'll put winning over developing. I've never been a coach that puts winning over getting kids prepared for real life. I've never been a coach that's put winning over my own personal respect. And see, a lot of you high school coaches, and that's how I feel about the Eastern View head coach, Coach Default, who got the job by default because nobody else would take it. I know that they offered it to 6 other people prior to giving it to you. Oh, you might not know that, but I know that. I don't know what story they feeding you. I don't know what story they feeding you. But I know that to be a fact. Because it came from within. Yeah, it came from within the board of people that had a say-so over hiring you and giving you the job, that others had turned it down, which was why you got it. But anywho, when you don't demand that respect from the gate, homeboy, you end up with situations like this. You end up with situations like what went on at the Caroline game after the Caroline win with the BTA, the belt to ass situation. Oh, y'all thought because it wasn't on camera, nobody knew about it. You know, the dancing and all that extra shit. Oh, you think, it's not gotten out about all the behind the scenes tussles and scruffles and issues that's going on with star guys. See, the talent is there at Eastern View. I know this firsthand. I know it personally. A lot of talent is there at Eastern View. A whole lot of talent. But what comes with that type of talent is egos. And if the head coach doesn't cut those egos at the gate, if a head coach doesn't make it be known at the gate, you don't wait until halfway through a season when you've been having altercations all spring and summer. You don't wait till halfway through the season before you have a meeting to nip it at the bud. Too late, buddy. But I get it. When you got key guys threatening to roll out, when you got coaches that make your job easier because you're a baseball player, you really don't know. You was an assistant of an assistant before you became a head. Didn't think I knew that, did you? When you got coaches and key players that's not with the bullshit no more, then you got to nip the shit at the bud, right? Now you got to put your foot down, correct? Now you got to put your foot down. But why wait till it gets that late? Why wait? Why not put your foot down earlier? And again, what I'm speaking on is facts. I got the receipts. But I'm not going to put kids' names out there. I'm not going to put my sources out there neither, because it's adults coming to me, giving me all the info. It's adults who wants this shit talked about, but they can't talk about it out of fear of their kids getting the brunt of it. But again, it bothers me and it irritates me to sit back and watch what's going on with the football in our area when it comes to high school football, when I know at one point Eastern View was talked about in other counties, in other areas, about how good they was. My guy Rail, who follows the football out in Richmond's 804 area, we used to talk about how good Eastern View was. My guy Matt in the 804, who is really in tune with the football, high school football out there, used to talk to me about how good Eastern View was. Now all they say is what happened to Eastern View. Same thing with Liberty. What happened to Liberty? Now Kettle Run is the talk of the town. It starts at the top, bro. All of you parents and former players that's out here getting mad because people are talking about your coaches, all you athletic directors that's out here getting mad because people are talking about your coaches, fix your coaches. It starts at the top. Just like your jobs start at the top. If an employee's not doing what he's supposed to do, the supervisor gets in trouble. That's why the supervisor comes down on the employee. It starts at the top. If you want to be a respected coach by your players, then make that respect mandatory from all your players. Stop putting winning over respect. If you're a coach and you coaches, and I know some of y'all out there is going to be like, that's not the coach's job to build character. It's not the coach's job to teach these guys how to be men. Last time I checked, being a coach also meant you was a mentor. So if you as a coach feel like it's not your job to help these kids fix their attitudes if they have a bad attitude, if you as a coach feel it's not your job to teach these young men how to be men in real life, then you're only there for winning. And I'm going to be honest with you. As a parent, I wouldn't want you coaching my child. As a parent, I wouldn't want you coaching my child. Yeah, as a parent, it's my job to raise my son. You're right. But what happened? It takes a village. Because, see, some of you coaches might have went through some things that I didn't go through. And you might be able to help my son adapt to that way of life. I can help my son adapt to the way of life that I'm used to. But maybe I want another coach to teach him some things that I can't teach him because I don't know. So all you coaches and you guys and you parents and some of you dudes, even in Little League, that say it's not the coach's job to teach him how to be a man, whoop-de-whoop-wompty-womp. You don't want your son to learn from everybody? You don't want your son to be prepared for any walk and anything life brings him? Because there's some things, dads, that you ain't been through. I'm a former street guy. I don't know how to live in the corporate world. Never lived there. I'm just learning about credit. So I would love for a coach who's in that realm, who's lived that good life, never been in trouble, to talk and teach that type of shit to my son while they at practice, if he can make it relate to football. So when you guys say it's not the coach's responsibility to teach them how to be young men, you sound dumb as hell in my opinion. Stupid as hell in my opinion. And I don't care who it hurts. And if you think I'm talking about you, then I hope it hits you right in the middle of your head. Because that means you feel some type of way and you know that you do that shit. Just that simple. We need to get the high school football in the local area. Yes, there's teams in the 5-4-0 that are looking real good right now. But I want the local area. We need to get this high school football back on track. Colonial Ford's looking good right now. Stafford looking good right now. North Stafford looking good right now. Kettle Run looking good right now. And I mean looking good, not... There's levels to this shit. There's your top tiers, your mid tiers, and then the ones we don't even want to put on a tier. Get it fixed. Because I know some former Liberty players. I know old Buzzo. That man built that foundation. That old Buzzo would never deal with the type of disrespect that I see coming from some of the players and the lack of effort. That old Buzzo would never have coaches on his staff that just stand there and not help coach. He would never. Hatfield would never at Eastern View. He would never. And if there was some shit going on that maybe we didn't know about, then that means he did a hell of a job of controlling it in-house. Because if I'm hearing about it, you're not controlling it in-house. You're not controlling it in-house. Because if I'm hearing about it, athletic directors, head coaches of these high schools, if I'm hearing about your problems, but I'm never at your school, I'm not involved in your school, I don't work in your school, I don't know your teachers, I don't even know all of your coaches, if I'm hearing about it, that means your parents or your players want me to hear about it. Or your counselors. Let me throw that one out there. So again, you ADs, before you start coming down on parents who's trying to figure out what the hell's going on, how about you start within and you figure out what's going on? That way, instead of going at their necks, you can tell them what the issue is. You can inform them on what changes are trying to be made and what's going on. And then they might not be as outspoken on your program. You mad at them. A lot of you ADs is mad at the parents because of decisions you made, because you made bad hires. And now you're mad at the parents. Now, play devil's advocate, you parents, grab control of your kids. Because at no time should a player be disrespecting the coach. Not on the field. Not to his face. Yeah, I done cuss Lou out a couple times. I done cuss Hatfield out a couple times. I cussed Coach Campbell out a couple times. I cussed Settle out a couple times. But they don't know it. They would never know it if I didn't just say it. Because I waited until I got away from the field. I waited till I got in the locker room. Fuck you think he talking to? Bah, 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 bah. Because my dad made it clear I better not disrespect the coach. Ever. Better not even be a conversation. My coaches better not tell my dad that I was disrespectful. He don't give a damn why I was disrespectful. Fact is, I was disrespectful to an adult. That's how he's going to look at it. He's not going to look at it as being disrespectful to a coach. So a lot of you parents need to figure out a way to disrespect your kids. Because I listen to how some of your kids talk at 14, 15, 16 years old in high school. And I'm going to tell you right now, if I had been talking that way as a senior, my dad would have probably punched me in my goddamn throat. So a lot of you parents, the same way I'm telling the coaches to not come at you parents when you're speaking facts based off what you see, a lot of you parents need to stop being your fucking kids' friends and teach them respect and discipline. How about that? Let's get to that. How about that? It ain't just the coaches now. We're not going to sit and act like it's just the coaches or it's just the athletic directors. A lot of these high school programs are not the same because you parents ain't the same. Because you parents allow your kids to say and do whatever they want, and then you try to justify it rather than correcting them. And as soon as somebody else goes to correct them, or as soon as somebody else points out the disrespect and the language that they use and the way that they act, you parents then get defensive. You parents then get defensive. Because again, film don't lie. We all can make excuses, but film don't lie. So you getting mad or your kid getting mad because he's getting pulled or because the coach is barking at him because he made a mistake on the field or because he's not doing his job or because a coach benches him because he's done dropped the ball or fumbled the ball or missing tackles. Why are you getting mad at the coach and why are you allowing your son to be disrespectful to the coach? When it's their fault. Coaches ain't catching, coaches ain't running, coaches ain't tackling. So when are you going to start holding your kids accountable? See, accountability is something I've been speaking on the youth football level all off season, all spring and summer. And now I'm wondering, because I look at the high school games that I've been to up to this point, and mind you, we're in week 6, and I've been to a high school game every weekend. So I've seen a lot of high school football, and I've seen a lot of players. And I don't think some of y'all understand that when I'm watching these games and I'm at these sidelines and I'm streaming these games, the camera picks up everything. I see the sidelines, not just the field. I'm watching everything. And a lot of you parents got some disrespectful ass kids. A lot of you parents got some disrespectful ass kids, bro. A lot of you parents got kids out here cussing at the coaches, putting hands on other players. A lot of you parents got kids out here that don't feel like they got to listen to a damn thing the coaches say. A lot of you parents got kids out here that's walking around practice, fuck this, fuck that, this is bullshit, nigga this, nigga that, motherfucker this, motherfucker that, bitch this, bitch that. But then you mad when the coach corrects them? Wait a minute. That respect started at the crib. That respect starts at the crib. Because I promise you 90% of the kids is cussing at practice. Guess where else they cuss at? And I'm not going to say all, because we know some kids will get to practice and do exactly what they can't do at home. But 90%, if they cussing at practice and they're cussing loud enough for the coaches to hear it and other adults to hear it, then they probably cuss at home too. So that starts with you, parents. That starts with you. Since when did it become okay for a kid under the age of 18 to be walking around cussing in front of adults like it's no problem? When did that become okay? So see, though I bitch and say that the culture starts with the head coach, the respect starts at home. The culture starts with the head coach because he has a say-so over who is and ain't on his team, unless the booster program is running the team like we've seen up in some schools. But for the most part, the coach sets the standard. The coach sets the culture based off of who he allows to remain on his team. But the parents are the ones who dictate the respect level of their child. There's women that are the same age as me, but I still call them miss. Because that's the respect that my mother installed in me as far as treating a female. There's guys that's just a little bit older than me that I still say yes, sir, to. Because that's the respect that was set forth with my parents. I'll cuss on here, and I might cuss in front of people my age or younger. But if I get in front of some elderly people that I don't know, that don't know me, it's not going to happen. And I'm 46 years old, but that was a respect that was installed in me as a youngin'. So parents, before you do a whole lot of bitching to the parents and talking about how they targeting your kid and this, that, and the third and the other, make sure your kid's respect level is where it needs to be. Make sure your kid's work ethic is where it needs to be. Make sure your kid even wants to play the game as bad as you want them to play the game. And as always, if anything that I said, my opinion based off of physical facts, meaning film, because I watch everybody's games that I talk about. And the reason I watch everybody's games that I talk about is because I have the app that allows me to do so. And I run a business, Local Locker Room, that allows me to watch the games because that is my business. I don't know which part of that you people don't understand yet. For the past 3 years, I have taken Local Locker Room very serious and made it a business. I'm talking paperwork and all. Yeah, a legit business. So I know what I'm talking about when I see it. And you can't hide your games from me in high school like they do in Little League. You can't, because it's all over the app. So again, athletic directors, your football program starts at the top, which means it starts with you. You got to be more involved like some of these former athletic directors was, and that's why their programs ran good. Head coaches, how about you figure out a way to work a system that fits the kids you got rather than making them try to fit yours and hold them accountable. Control your program. Have control over your program. Stop allowing certain kids to do certain things just because you want a good resume. Because the end result is not going to lead to a good resume anyway. That's common sense. Bad attitude, bad energy, bad play leads to losses, not wins. And beating the lesser teams means nothing when you're barely beating them. So again, head coaches, hold your kids accountable. Athletic directors, hold your coaches and yourself accountable. Head coaches, hold yourself and your players accountable. You assistant coaches, if you're with a head coach and he's not doing what he's supposed to do, or you don't think he's doing what he's supposed to do, then as a man or woman, then you need to step up and do it. And if he has a problem, if the head coach has a problem with you correcting the kids on that team, then maybe you shouldn't be with that head coach because y'all are not the same type of coaches. And that's just being real. Because if your coaching staff ain't on the same page, the kids ain't going to be on the same page. And kids can sense that you're not on the same page. So therefore, the kids are going to pick and choose which side they go to. So when your coaching staff ain't on the same page, the team ends up being divided. You can't win that way. And I know some of y'all's coaching staffs ain't on the same page because some of your coaches are the ones who talk to me. See, you might not like me, but your coaches do. Because I say the things they want to say, but they can't say. And that's real. And you parents, start holding your kids accountable. Start holding your kids accountable, man. Real rap. If you don't want the coaches to say nothing to them, if you don't want this parent to say nothing to them, if you don't want this parent to say nothing to them, then you as a fucking parent better start holding your kid accountable. Because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to tell y'all the same thing I told my sister Crystal about my nephew Trayvon and Curly. If you don't get their shit together and you don't get them on the right path, they're going to be sneaking girls in and out your house at 30 years old. And that's what's going to happen, bro. And I'm just speaking from experience. If you don't start holding these kids accountable, their life going to be a whole lot harder than dealing with a mad football coach. I'm just being honest. So again, man, VHSL in my area, man, accountability was the message for the day. Start holding each other accountable from top to bottom. If not, football around here is going to continue to be horrible. And I'm not talking about all the schools because I just named off a few that are looking pretty damn good. Not looking bad at all. Couple 5-0s, couple 4-1s. But you 1s and 3s, you 1 and 4s, you 0 and 5s. Figure it out. And if your JV program ain't doing much better than your varsity, that means you in trouble for the next few years. Something has to change. Something has to change, man. Real rap, something has to change, man. That's your boy Samson The Badguy, man. This was the 540 local look right here on the Local Locker Room Network with your boy Samson The Badguy. We'll be back next week to kind of recap the games and what went on. I'm going to have a little more stuff. This was the first show of this year. I'm going to try to stay in tune with the high school stuff. I'm still doing the youth stuff, but I'm fading a little bit from it because that shit getting whack and corny. So I'm going to start getting back into the high school shit a little bit more. Next year, I'm going to try to follow the middle school as well. And we also in the semi-pro stuff. But, well, again, like I said, man, the word of the day for high school on game day, the word of the day for the high schools on game day, man, is accountability, man. Because some of y'all programs, you head coaches ain't holding nobody accountable, and it's causing your program to pay for it dearly, dearly, dearly. Get it together, get it fixed. You know the vibes, you know the energy, man. I'm out of here.